Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a situation here on Bitcoin where I did a poll yesterday, right? And I got a poll, I got 1.6k votes, which is quite a lot. And look, I like to think my channel is a lot less biased than a lot of other channels. I don't sit here and spew bullish narratives 24/7. Even if you look at my thumbnails and titles, it's a mixture, right? It's green, red, it's bullish, bearish. Obviously, titles and thumbnails are not a good representation of what's actually said in the videos, but I don't just sit here and make dozens of videos straight with, bold red writing. We're going to crash and everything's screwed. So I like to think that my channel does have a little bit less bias involved in what the viewers think. And look, you can't get rid of bias. That's the reality. I mean, I am macro bullish. I don't think the Bitcoin's in a bear market. So if anything, you're going to have more people who are leaning bullish based on what I say in my polls, which is very interesting. We've got a 50-50 split here. We did a poll, where will Bitcoin move first? 52% said they're bullish, 48% said they're bearish. And, as per what I said before, I've got a bullish bias personally right now. I think we're probably going to go upwards on a macro scale. And so, if anything, these poll results should have been, had the advantage of the bullish option. But, now I've got a 50-50 split, which actually leads me to believe there's a pretty decent probability here that most people are actually bearish right now. Now, I'm not one to sit here and say, oh, the majority is always wrong, you have to buy because of that. Not at all. I actually don't really understand fully why people rely so much on the majority is always wrong. It's quite a weak saying, in my opinion, because first of all, who are you to determine what the majority is? Any poll you look at, including this one, will have massive bias involved. So it's very difficult to get a scope of what the majority actually thinks. And second of all, if the majority was always wrong, the price would never move, right? Because at some point you have to admit that the price moves based on buyer sentiment. And if the majority is buying, the price moves upwards, okay? And the price does move upwards, therefore the majority is not always wrong. And the same thing to the downside. And also another factor is the majority of people is not the majority of capital. So the majority is always wrong thing is faulted, but it is generally true, right? It's a generalized statement. It's not to be used in all circumstances. It's not the only thing you need to base your decisions on, especially since it's so indistinguishable. But in this case, I would actually say that most people are probably bearish right now, or at the very least, right, in a community like mine where I am personally macro bullish, at the very least, I would say there is a massive degree of indecisiveness, right? So with that said, with the indecisiveness, and I understand, by the way, why people are indecisive. It makes perfect sense. I'm indecisive, right? Macro, I think we're going upwards, but medium term, this is a weird place to be. There's no way around that. And we're going to delve into that in this video. What are the levels we need to be looking at? Where is the upside confirmation? Where is the downside confirmation? And going into some interesting times as well. Perhaps we'll even dive into traditional markets. We might leave that for tomorrow. We'll see how the video goes. I like to freestyle my videos. I'll see if it fits in. But there's interesting stuff things to discuss on bond yields as well, and interest rates, and coming up with the first interest rate cut in just under 2 months here. But we'll definitely get into Bitcoin. We'll get into total cryptocurrency market cap. We'll get into Ethereum, and we'll look at where the key levels are right now and what's actually going on in the medium and short term. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. Before we do so, though, the BitcoinX exchange and the BingX exchanges, right? 5,500 USDT in sign-up bonuses with my referral link down below for BitcoinX, and 4,000 USDT for BingX. That's a sign-up bonus, right? So if you sign up with my referral link down below, you're literally getting a chance to win thousands of dollars in bonuses. And if you don't get the bonuses, you will get, guaranteed, a 15% lifetime trading fee discount on every single buy and sell you make on both of those exchanges. So just use my link down below. It's global non-KYC. I know KYC is a big issue nowadays. You can sign up for those ones down below with my links and you'll get those rewards and bonuses. Thank you for doing that. Let's get into the YouTube video. Now, this is a cluttered chart. I understand that. And look, there's a reason why people are indecisive right now. The charts are cluttered, right? But if we really just want to break it down, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to delete everything. Delete the whole thing. Start fresh. What is important here? Well, first of all, why are people indecisive? Well, people are indecisive because we had a very important macro level at 61,000. All right, let's go ahead and draw it in. Let's use a horizontal line, just make it simple and clean here. 61,200 roughly was our macro level. That was not just a random level. It was a level that was very well identifiable via the monthly chart. So we look at the highest ever monthly candle close we saw in the 2021 bull market, and we saw that extending across leads to a support zone in that 61k region. And now we zoom back into the medium-term time frame, and we see that that support zone from the highest ever monthly candle close actually worked, okay? look, ignore this here because this was jumbling around, but look at this price action. Bounce, 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 deviation, bounce, okay? And on the deviation we went downwards to critical levels such as the bull market support band, which we're being battled for on the second deviation right here. So 61K is a major level. Do not let the discrepancies in price action distract you from that fact. 61K was the macro support zone. And the fact that we lost 61K was major, but what was actually more major and what's more confusing to a lot of people is the fact that we lost the bull market support band and other relevant ascending indicators or dynamic indicators, because those are levels that have always held. Like we look at prior bull runs around that period of the market cycle. 2017 is an excellent example. This bull market support band held the entire way upwards, all the way back from 2015, all the way up to the very top, okay? Similar story in the bear market, rejecting all the way downwards to the bottom and finally getting back above it equals the start of another uptrend. So bull market support band, and again in 2021 it's the same story. Deviation, but once we finished that deviation, we flipped it for support, went back up. So bull market support band was a critical indicator, and losing it at that part of the market cycle before the altcoin season, while we were on the brink of an altcoin season, and we were on the brink of an altcoin season, was a shock. But it's understandable as to why it happens, and this is my underlying thesis right now. My underlying thesis right now is that we moved up too fast. We had the ETF release and it led Bitcoin to pump way too fast without any significant corrections. I mean, we saw a pump on Bitcoin from October, right, to the top in March, almost 200%, right, without any real correction whatsoever. The only correction we saw was a brief little 1.5 week long dip after ETFs, which was very expected. Being that it was such a major event, of course, it's going to be sell the news when it comes out. So we didn't see any kind of pullback, and we saw a 200% move, which is unprecedented for Bitcoin. Even in prior cycles, that's massive. But in this cycle, with this level of diminishing returns going on, that is huge. And so it makes sense to me that these dynamic indicators, which previously were so reliable, got dragged up so high that they had to break, right? They had to break in order to give us breathing room and realign with the general timeline of how market cycles work. So again, my thesis right now is we are just kind of taking a breather, and we will go back upwards in due time. Now, what will that look like? What will I have to look at to think, okay, we're going back upwards now? Because right now, we're obviously not confirmed to be going back upwards yet. But where are the breakout levels? Well, in my opinion, there's pretty clear breakout levels. Now, what I've gone ahead and done, and I'll put back 61K, put it right there, that's where it is. And you can see 61K as well on the weekly chart as a major level, as you can see by that weekly candle close, which held the support zone on the deviation down to 57K. But there is a descending wedge formation. We'll go to the daily chart and show you. Very strong descending wedge formation, which will be... we're on the logarithmic, so it looks a little bit stuffed up. No, we're actually not on logarithmic. Let me just fix it up quickly. But it is a strong descending wedge formation. I'm not going to take time to draw it properly now, but it is there. I promise you, look at my prior videos. And that descending wedge formation obviously is indicating that we are in an unsustainable downwards trend. Now, not only is there a descending wedge formation, but there also is, and this is very critical, a massive ascending support structure stemming backwards from 2019, which sliced through the 2021 bull market, acting as support on two significant corrections during the bull market and acting as resistance, right, during the ETF top and breaking above that ETF top level. So this is a very major line. It's 5 years long of support. And the fact that it's right here, right on top of where we are right now, the fact that it was tested perfectly upon this correction downwards from 61K, and the fact that it was tested perfectly as well as part of the descending wedge formation. On top of all of this, the fact that the Ichimoku cloud baseline in red has marked the weekly candle low here, for me personally, I would not feel very comfortable for Bitcoin going lower. With all of these bullish signs, right, I will not feel very comfortable with Bitcoin going lower. I don't really see why that would need to happen. It wouldn't make much sense to me. I think we can have the appropriate level of consolidation within this wedge, break to the upside and have more consolidation perhaps back in the prior range before moving upwards, and that would put us way back on track, plenty back on track with the 4-year cycle. So therefore, for me personally, I would like to see, in order for upside confirmation, not only a break of this wedge formation, but a break back above 61K. All right, because a break back above 61k would entail a break of the wedge itself. It would also entail a break above 61k, which is a critical level. It would also entail, though, a break above the bull market support band, which is one of the dynamic indicators that was so important in prior bull markets that we don't really feel too comfortable without being above. So 61k for me is the important level. There's obviously other indicators that surround that. For example, daily chart, we can look at the RSI and look at the yellow channel formation stemming backwards from February. That's 5 months long of resistance. If we break 61k, it's very likely we break that as well. For me, this would be labeled a massive deviation. If we got back above 61 and we could continue upwards from there. I'm in no rush to do that though. And the charts aren't really either. I mean, they are coming to a closing point, but in terms of macro, we've got no rush. We're still ahead of the 4-year cycle. If we were to be at all-time highs right now, which we're not, but if that's the only way I can measure it, if we were to be at all-time highs right now, we'd still be about 110 days ahead of where we're meant to be cyclically. So we've got about 110 days of breathing room for us to be below the all-time high. Now, if we break the high in 110 days or around then, that's excellent because it means we're right back on track. Now, when would that be? That would be late September onwards, okay? So as long as Bitcoin takes its time, look, we technically could go lower. It wouldn't be a comfortable position. I wouldn't be holding anything, that's for sure. But as long as we get back on track by late September, it's not really the end of the world from a cyclical perspective. Now, obviously, this is under the presupposition that we will be seeing a continuation of that 4-year cycle. Which again is my underlying thesis right now. It's what I see as personally most likely at the moment, but it's not guaranteed. And this is where we can get into traditional markets and the rate cuts coming in, potential flips downwards on the S&P, which again, I'm not confirmed because we're in a unique market environment in general with the S&P 500. We're going to discuss that tomorrow. Will they pump the printers again? Will they put inflation back into the market? What are they going to do? What's the Fed going to do to react to this situation? It's a very unique situation that the US faces right now with, the debt, the debt repayments exceeding their yearly budget for the military. And the US military has a higher budget than the top 10 world militaries combined per year. So that just gives you an idea of the scale of the debt problem right now. And for me personally, if I look at that problem and I look at the way democracies work in the USA, I don't see a situation where people are going to be wanting to go QT, right? Quantitative tightening. I see quantitative easing as the only way out there because the government, they love inflation, all right? It's how you can kick the can down the road. It's how you can delay responsibility and accountability. And quite frankly, it's looking like it might be the only way out at this point. But we'll discuss that tomorrow. And that just giving you an idea of the unique situation with the S&P. Again, things like the market going downwards while rates are going upwards, things we've just never seen before. And so any predictability that was previously there with the S&P and traditional markets is just not really there anymore. And that leaves us in a difficult situation with Bitcoin as well, right? Because Bitcoin is heavily tied to these traditional markets and heavily tied to the factors that lead the traditional markets to rise. But we're going to discuss that all tomorrow. What I wanted to say today is that in order for Bitcoin to be bullish again, we need to get back above 61k. When will this move potentially be starting? Well, it should ideally be starting upon a breakout of this descending wedge formation. I'd not feel comfortable holding below that. 53Ks really should be the low. We really shouldn't go below that. Not in any healthy manner, I mean. And so if we were to break this wedge to the upside, we look at when the wedge ends. Well, it ends all the way over here in early to mid-August. So let's just say we could be seeing a breakout by the end of this month, right? That's definitely possible. So it's interesting, right? We're kind of running out of time here till the next move. The next move is coming, but we also still have a situation where we have plenty of time left on the macro scale, given the structure of the cycle itself. And then we also have a situation where no one really knows what the hell is going to happen in traditional markets, right? Some people are saying, like myself, we're going to see mass inflation, we're going to see more printing coming in. And then some people are saying, no, they're gonna tighten and we're gonna see a recession, okay? And they're gonna force a recession. They're not gonna print anything. They're not gonna, and it's complete jumble, right? People are saying, oh, we're gonna see rate cuts and the market's gonna flip around. We're gonna see a reversal. That's what's happened historically, but we are not in the same situation we were in historically. So it's really, I understand why the poll results are so conflicted right now. I'm conflicted, and I do this full time. But what I can say is that right now, I don't see the cycle as broken. And right now, the strongest case I see is the case that we are seeing a breathing, what would you say? where the market's resting is what I'm saying. Crypto's resting, it's recovering, and it's about to take another leg up. That, in my opinion, makes the most sense. But we won't see validation of that until it actually happens, right? 61K is what I'm looking at. That's the whole point of this video. Same story on total cryptocurrency market cap, same kind of descending wedge. Same story really on Ethereum, not a descending wedge, but they've got a macro support zone and also a descending resistance. And all these levels kind of line up to each other. So that's the overarching story, right? We just have to get above these critical levels. 61K is one of them. And if we do that, then we can be more confident in what the actual narrative is. Right now, this is a period of uncertainty, and it makes sense that people are uncertain. So that's my video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow I'm going to discuss traditional markets quite extensively. But yeah, thank you for watching again. Go ahead and check out the BitTunix and BingX exchanges. Again, 5,500 USDT bonuses on BitTunix, 4,000 on BingX, global non-KYC, never been hacked before, low trading fees, even lower for my referral link discounts. Everything you want on exchanges on these exchanges. So go ahead and click my links down below. We've also got the VIP group on Telegram, right? We trade altcoins 4 to 5 times a week on VIP. We have a 78.39% win rate, a structured win rate that you can see. It's fully transparent, okay? Go ahead and check out the document if you want proof of that. And we've also got a group chat available when you join that membership. So if you want the membership details, if you want to check out the results, you can do so. It's all down below. And then finally, our Crypto Academy. That is coming to a sale right now, a limited time sale, discounted price. If you want to learn how to trade in a university style structure, whether you're a verbal learner, a visual learner, a practical learner, it's all there, right? We've got slideshows, videos, worksheets, everything you need to learn, all in that course, much more extensive than other courses in this market, much more affordable as well. So check it out if you're interested. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.